Our criminal justice system is an important problem and one that is going to be difficult to reform. Hi, I'm Maat, former libertarian congressional candidate and former police officer for 11 years in Broward County. The problem that we have now in America is one of a heavy-handed, overbearing, illiberal, authoritarian, government-imposed criminal justice system that's been set up by the majority of Americans at the expense of the civil liberties of the other Americans. Problematic aspects of our system include the most brazenly illegal, what we would consider violations of the 4th, 5th, and 14th Amendments, up to and including no-knock warrants and asset forfeiture. It includes the most un-American, qualified immunity and, more generally, the court's deference to law enforcement, to such an extent that it's sometimes difficult for citizens to seek redress when things go wrong. And it includes the most self-damning impediments to transparency and accountability to prevent the system from policing itself, most apparently in the form of union contracts, but, I would argue, more fundamentally, are the result of politicians abdicating their responsibility in the face of opportunity to negotiate for the tools necessary to hold law enforcement accountable. And arguably the most pernicious of all, the police industry mentality, the so-called warrior mindset, which is trained into officers at the start of every career and persists just this side of legal, even though it is, in our view, just on the other side of what is right. Let's be honest about the cause of our problems. Our society's war on crime is politically popular. Whether your favorite touchstone is the crime bill of 1996 or Richard Nixon's silent majority or George Bush's Patriot Act, law and order is a popular theme in American politics. Everybody wants safety, and the vast majority of Americans believe they'll always be on the right side of the law, not swept up by police action. Of course, it's a winning political formula to be able to provide a solution to a problem. The solution is law enforcement, and the problem is criminals. Those people I don't even know, problems I can't see, situations I don't understand. After all, an illiberal and oppressive criminal justice system costs most people very little in terms of civil liberties, as long as we expect the people affected by the law to be those other people. We live in a segregated society. We're segregated by race, by income, by wealth, by immigration and culture, by education, among other things, and by crime rates. Segregation fosters ignorance. Ignorance fosters fear. Fear fosters political opportunism. Fear is possibly the most powerful word in all of politics. Politicians are happy to flame our fears. They tell us that drugs are the devil's brew, so we better make those illegal. They tell us that privacy cloaks the work of the devil. They tell us that guns are the root of all violence. It's not money that's the root of all evil, it's undisclosed money that's the root of all evil. Nobody wants to hear that it's not stuff that causes crime, but policy itself. Consider what it takes for crime to flourish: means, opportunity, motive, and consider how our public policy supports each one of these. The means are supported by geographic concentration, which is the #1 predictor of crime. Using zoning ordinances and housing subsidies, we concentrate people into geographic areas. Opportunity to make money through street crime is created by the drug prohibition. And the motivation for crime, of course, is poverty and an absence of expectations of higher income through legal avenues. We know the formula for success. It's not easy, but the elements are identifiable. Get an education, get married, get a job. Now consider how our public policy undermines each one of these. Our government ensures bad education by granting monopolies to local public schools. Our government subsidizes the breakup of families. Our government subsidizes unemployment and underemployment. So effective is the combination of these policies that persistent intergenerational poverty, which is a political phenomenon and not something predicted by free markets, is a dominant force in the lives of millions of Americans. Poverty, crime, segregation, fear, politics. My fellow libertarians, let's never forget that it's not for us that we work hard to change the system. It's for those among our fellow Americans who are even more greatly victimized.